Brunei celebrates the wedding of Prince Mateen in a lavish 10-day-long royal ceremony.
The world can't stop talking about the latest developments surrounding Prince Mateen's wife, and the story is nothing short of extraordinary. Known for her elegance and mystery, she has captured global attention alongside the beloved Brunei royal. But recent events have sparked a whirlwind of speculation and intrigue. From whispers of shocking revelations to unexpected twists in their royal journey, this story has left everyone on edge. What truly happened, and how will it impact their future? Stay tuned as we uncover the full, jaw-dropping truth. Royal romance. Prince Mateen's love story felt like something straight out of a fairy tale. When news broke that he was dating a woman from outside the royal circle, people were overjoyed. She was graceful, sophisticated, and incredibly beautiful. Everything that captured the public's imagination. Everyone was eager to learn about the woman who had captured the heart of one of the world's most famous princes. Their relationship seemed like a dream come true. At glamorous events, they were often seen showing their love for each other, sharing sweet kisses and tender moments. It was clear that they were perfectly matched, as if they were two puzzle pieces coming together. Every photo of them made headlines, and before long, people all around the world were celebrating their fairy tale romance. Then came the wedding, an extravagant celebration that left everyone in awe. The entire palace was adorned with flowers in every shade imaginable, and the streets were lined with people, all eager to catch a glimpse of the royal couple. Prince Mateen was dressed in regal attire, while his bride wore a magnificent gown that sparkled like a starry night. When they exchanged their vows, it was as if time stood still. Everyone watching, from the crowd in the streets to those watching from afar, seemed to hold their breath in anticipation. The wedding was not just a private affair, it was broadcast worldwide, with news outlets covering everything from stunning decorations to heartfelt speeches. People everywhere celebrated this magical moment, feeling as if they were part of the royal family themselves. For many, her story served as a reminder that fairy tales can come true in real life. When she became a princess, the world took even more notice. Magazines dubbed her the new face of royalty, and cameras captured every moment of her life. She always wore a radiant smile and seemed to glide through her days with effortless grace. Her calm demeanor earned the admiration of adults, while children saw her as a real-life princess. Yet there was an undeniable sense of mystery about her. People often saw her in public, but rarely did they hear her speak. Despite her constant presence at royal and charity events, no one truly knew what she was thinking or feeling. She was always stunning, which only made her more intriguing, and the more elusive she became, the more people were captivated by her. Behind the glamour, however, whispers began to circulate. Some wondered if her life was as perfect as it appeared, especially considering the pressure of living up to the strict royal expectations. Others speculated about the stress she might be enduring in such a public role. But despite these whispers, nothing definitive was ever revealed, and the world continued to adore her from a distance. Royal life might have been luxurious, but it was far from easy. There were countless traditions to uphold, expectations to meet, and the constant watchful eye of the public. It was a lot for anyone, especially someone new to that world. But throughout it all, she remained composed, and people marveled at how well she seemed to handle the weight of her title. Yet, as time passed, it became clear that not everything was as perfect as it seemed. All that glitters is not gold, as the saying goes. Things that appear flawless on the outside can sometimes be burdensome on the inside. What the world saw as a dream come true, no one could have predicted the changes that would unfold behind the scenes. Although perfect couples were once admired, there were subtle signs of trouble that led people to question what truly went on when the cameras weren't rolling. So, was it really as perfect as it seemed on the outside? Let's find out next. Controversies in the marriage. At first, Prince Mateen and his wife seemed to have everything anyone could dream of. The land praised their beauty and elegance, and when they were together, their smiles were enchanting. Their love appeared endless, like a fairy tale. But sometimes, things that seem perfect on the outside hide small issues on the inside. The first signs of trouble were subtle and easy to overlook. People began to notice that the princess, who once attended every royal event with grace and charm, started missing some of the most important ones. She used to light up the room simply by being there, but now she wasn't around as often. The reasons for her absences seemed unclear. Health problems, delays, or family matters were offered as explanations. But as she stayed away more frequently, whispers began to grow. Something didn't seem right. As rumors spread, people started to notice other changes. At public events, Prince Mateen seemed different too. He still smiled and waved, but his energy seemed off. He appeared calmer, more distant, and some even said he looked exhausted, as though he was carrying an invisible burden. They used to be inseparable, but now they seemed apart more often. When they were together, their love didn't shine as brightly. Behind the royal walls, tensions were beginning to surface. Insiders whispered about arguments and mounting stress. There were late-night conversations, skipped meals, and quiet strolls around the royal gardens. The once perfect romance, which had captivated the world, was showing cracks. Yet, there were still moments when everything seemed fine. The couple would share a smile, and for a brief moment, it looked as though they were back to their old selves. Those moments gave hope to their supporters, but the signs of strain were hard to ignore. The missed events, the strange silences, and the changes in behavior told a different story, a story of a relationship under quiet pressure. The world, which had once followed their every move with admiration, now found itself questioning what was happening behind the royal gates. The dream that had once shone so brightly was now starting to dim, and with it, doubts began to creep in. The world could only watch as the couple tried to hold on to their love, wondering whether the cracks would widen or if they could mend their bond before it was too late. The whispers grew louder, and soon it became easier to notice the changes in everything around them. At public events, Prince Mateen's behavior had shifted. He still smiled and waved to the crowds, but there was something different about him. He seemed more distant, calmer, almost as though he was carrying an invisible burden that no one else could see. People started to notice that he appeared tired, as if the weight of something unseen was taking its toll on him. Once inseparable, the couple now seemed to be spending less time together. When they did, their love no longer felt as strong or as genuine. Behind the high walls of the royal palace, tension quietly started to build. Insiders whispered about disagreements and increasing stress. Late into the night, members of their inner circle would talk in hushed voices, skipping meals and taking long, solitary walks through the royal gardens. The fairy tale romance that had once captured the hearts of people around the world was showing cracks. However, there were still moments when everything seemed perfect. The couple would smile for the cameras, pretending that everything was fine, and in those fleeting moments, their fans held on to the hope that their love story was still intact. But even in these moments of illusion, The small signs of trouble couldn't be fully hidden. The missed visits, the awkward silences, and the strange stillness spoke volumes. Their relationship was under subtle but increasing pressure. The world, once enchanted by their love story, began to wonder what was happening behind the royal gates. The dream that had once shone so brightly was beginning to dim, and with it, doubt began to creep in. The world could only watch, wondering if the cracks in their relationship would deepen, or if they could somehow fix everything before it was too late. Could this perfect couple overcome their challenges? Was this the beginning of the end for Prince Mateen and his wife? Let's take a closer look. Whisper in the Palace. The grand castle, once a symbol of peace and joy, slowly transformed into a place that felt shrouded in mystery, as if something was being hidden inside. People who stood outside began to gossip about what was really happening behind those majestic gates. The fairy tale romance of Prince Mateen and his bride had captured hearts all over the world. But now, doubt was creeping in. They no longer appeared in public as often, and when they did, their smiles seemed forced, almost as if they were pretending everything was perfect. Inside the royal residence, things weren't as peaceful as they seemed. Those close to the royal couple started to pick up on subtle changes. There was a noticeable tension in the air. Conversations were shorter and people seemed more distant. Whispers began to circulate, with some suggesting that the root of the problem might lie in the royal traditions. Being a member of the royal family isn't easy, even for someone as poised and serene as the princess. There are strict rules on everything, from how to dress, to how to speak, to where to be at any given moment. It can all feel overwhelming for someone who was new to this world. Though she tried to remain composed, it might have been harder for her than anyone realized. Others believed that the pressures of family expectations played a role. Royal families often impose rigid codes of behavior, and these expectations can become a heavy weight to bear. Perhaps the princess and Prince Mateen were torn between their love for each other and their duty to the country they served. Then came whispers of new faces entering the picture. It's hard to know whom to trust when your life is constantly under public scrutiny. Throughout all this, the royal couple remained silent, adding to the mystery. Their refusal to address the rumors only deepened the confusion, leaving the public to wonder whether the silence was intentional or simply the calm before a storm. As the world watched, people started to ask whether this was just a brief storm or the beginning of something much darker. Inside the castle, it seemed trust was unraveling too. When every action and word is scrutinized, it's difficult to know who to confide in. The love story that had once felt magical was now teetering on the edge, no longer just a topic for gossip, but a drama that seemed to be spiraling out of control. The palace had become a place of whispers, and storm clouds were gathering. A major event seemed inevitable, and the question was no longer whether things would change, but when and how. Was the drama behind the palace walls caused by betrayal, forbidden desire, or something even more complicated? Let's explore further. The royal secret. One morning, the world awoke to a story that nobody had seen coming. What had once been a quiet secret behind the palace walls was suddenly exposed for all to see. It shocked everyone. It was so unexpected, it felt like a sudden storm, crashing through the calm without any warning. The news came in a way that no one could ignore. The royal family issued a statement, and though the message was clear, it left people with even more questions. Princess Anisha was stepping away from her royal life. The castle didn't reveal much more, only that the princess would be focusing on her health and well-being. But even those few words were enough to stir doubts and confusion. At first, people were stunned. It was hard to imagine someone as loved, kind, and respected as Princess Anisha just disappearing from public life. The news quickly spread across TV, social media, and newspapers, with people on both sides of the issue flooding the internet, trying to piece together what was happening. Some remained calm, believing it was just a brief break. But others jumped to conclusions, speculating wildly. Then came the whispers. Those rumors spread faster than wildfire. Some claimed the princess's departure was personal, suggesting that she couldn't handle her health issues in the public eye. Others hinted that she was unhappy with her royal responsibilities and longed to live a life away from the cameras. Some even whispered that her marriage to Prince Mateen was struggling, and that tension between them might have played a part. As the hours passed, the stories only became more bizarre. But through it all, Prince Mateen remained silent. He didn't offer his thoughts, nor did he address the press. His silence raised even more questions. Was he protecting his wife, or was there something else he wasn't ready to share with the world? People looked to him for answers, but all they got was silence, which only opened the door for more speculation. The royal family, too, stayed mostly quiet. And when they did speak, it only seemed to add fuel to the fire. Some insiders hinted that there were issues behind the scenes, perhaps even a disagreement over the princess's role. Others spoke about the heavy burden of royal duties and how someone could feel overwhelmed by the weight of it all. People began to wonder what kind of life Princess Anisha had been thrown into, and whether she had ever been truly prepared for it. On the other hand, many people rallied behind the princess. They believed she had every right to take a step back and focus on herself, without everyone making wild guesses about her intentions. Perhaps she just needed time to reflect and regroup, especially considering how graceful and admired she had been in the public eye. The truth remained a mystery, and the story continued to evolve with each passing day, leaving the world more intrigued and uncertain than ever. In the past, the public had mixed feelings about the situation. Many fans were angry and hurt by the sudden change because they felt betrayed. They couldn't understand why she decided to step back after being such an iconic figure for so long. It was a tough pill to swallow for those who had looked up to her as a symbol of royalty. However, others viewed the situation with more empathy. They believed that regardless of her reasons for stepping away, it was important to give her the space and time she needed to heal and take care of herself. The media, of course, had a field day with the story. They exaggerated every detail and scrutinized even the smallest of actions. Every word spoken by her was turned into a headline. The world was in shock. No one knew the full truth, but the news was spreading like wildfire. The royal family, once considered the epitome of perfection, seemed to be unraveling under the weight of all the secrets. As the public anxiously waited for more answers, the truth seemed to slip further and further away, and the search for clarity only grew more difficult with time. Why did she decide to leave it all behind after everything she had become? Let's move further. The royal family's challenges. People were taken by surprise when they found out that Princess Anisha was leaving the royal family. The royal family, along with their supporters, couldn't believe it either. It was as if the perfect image of the family had been shattered, and no one knew how to piece it back together. Behind the palace walls, things weren't as peaceful as they appeared. Soon, rumors started to spread, with insiders hinting at tension between the princess and certain royal family members. Some believed she was overwhelmed by the constant pressure of being in the public eye, while others suggested that she struggled with royal traditions that confined her actions and prevented her from truly being herself. The public's reaction was a mix of confusion, sadness, and anger. People had long admired Princess Anisha for her beauty and elegance, but when she turned away from everything, It made them question what they had always thought about life in the royal family. As these questions swirled, no clear answers emerged. One of the ideas that gained attention was the possibility of cultural differences. The princess came from a different background, and some wondered if this created challenges in fitting into the strict rules of royal life, which may have conflicted with her personal beliefs and identity. Others believed she might have felt the weight of living up to such high expectations. Still, some people whispered that the princess's decision was more about pursuing personal gain. Some of these theories seemed plausible, while others were just speculations. What was clear, however, was that the royal family's image had been damaged. Each day brought new stories and theories about mistakes that might have been made. Meanwhile, Prince Mateen kept silent, and the royal family tried to maintain their composure, but it was evident they didn't have all the answers and hadn't seen this coming. The world now anxiously awaited the next chapter of this unexpected turn of events. The impact of this situation was still being felt, and it showed how royalty is evolving in the age of social media and greater transparency. This story wasn't just another royal crisis. It highlighted the changing nature of modern royalty. Unlike in the past, when the royal family could retreat behind closed doors, today's digital world makes it nearly impossible to maintain that level of privacy. With social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram, news spreads faster than the royal family can react, and the public's opinions are shared instantly. People no longer view royalty as being above the law. Every royal action, outfit, and appearance is scrutinized and analyzed online. Princess Anisha, however, doesn't have to deal with these pressures. Unlike other royal families in Europe and the Middle East, who have also faced difficult situations in an age when privacy is hard to come by. From scandals to personal choices that challenge traditional royal expectations, these families are forced to confront the reality of modern life. The bigger question now is whether this will change how people feel about future generations of royals. Perhaps, like Princess Anisha, another royal might decide to step out of the spotlight and seek a life beyond the palace walls. The reality is clear. Being a royal today is more complicated than ever. The fairy tale is harder to maintain, and the pressure to keep up appearances is greater than it used to be. What are your thoughts on the shocking revelation about Prince Mateen's wife? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.